Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the Tradewaiters podcast, the comic book club, where we read a different trade paperback every single day, every single week.
Every single day, it feels like. Good Lord, we're doing this shit all the time.
Yeah, I'm Daniel, you're Nathan, we're brothers, Ruby Comics.
Yep, every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what do you think is the longest span of time that you've read comics every single day?
Like longest streak?
Yeah, longest streak.
Probably like 9 days or something.
I think that's probably what mine is. Because when I went on vacation, there was a lot of downtime where Sophie was like doing like her makeup or whatever.
A lot of lines and stuff.
Oh, dude, I love reading comics in lines.
Dude, it's a cheat code.
Yeah.
Sarah gets mad at me.
Dude, the last election, I was reading Southern Bastards.
Oh, while you're waiting to vote?
Wait, no, that was 2 elections ago.
Yeah, I was reading
Holy shit.
New Warriors.
You were?
Yeah, like the Civil War spin-off book.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've read that.
Yeah, because I was like, I want to see who started this thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I bought it in like some sort of sale thing.
Mm-hmm. I remember it was like the first vote, presidential vote I was going to do, and I didn't know how it worked, and I just knew I just had to go somewhere, but it was like after work, and so the line was like super long.
Yeah, like wrapped around like a building or whatever.
But it was the Hillary Trump election, I believe.
Yeah. I was in college.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was reading Southern Bastards. I got pretty fucking far because that line was long.
That's a good book to read.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I was like, I have nothing else to do, and this is the only book I've downloaded. Mm-hmm. So,
love reading comics in a line. So, anyway,
but yeah, we got different time codes in our description. We got the book, which is Local Man. The back matter matters in the poll list, but we start with the news.
Big hot stinky news, Daniel.
What kind of news you got, Nathan?
Hot news as of today, day of recording.
Okay.
The new Spider-Man creative team was announced, and they're going to start with a 10-issue story called The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man.
Okay.
The book's gonna end. Was it Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr.'s run of Spider-Man, and it's gonna now be Joe Kelly and Justina Ireland. And it'll be illustrated by Ed McGuinness and Gleb Milkanov.
Okay. Are they renumbering it, or are they just
I think they're just going to pick it up from wherever it was.
That's cool.
So yeah, 10 issues, 8 deaths of Spider-Man. I don't think spiders have 8 lives like cats have 9, but
yeah.
So it seems interesting. How's he going to die 8 times?
Yeah. And it's probably not just like going through like history and like going through like all the times Spider-Man has died.
No, I think he's gonna die 8 times and get resurrected somehow.
8 new times.
8 new times. What's one of the times he's gonna die, Daniel?
He's I bet he's gonna just get hit by a bus or something.
By a bus. I like that. I think Doc Ock is gonna try and like hit him in the stomach or something, and then
he's not prepared for it.
He's not prepared for it. Well, he's got a spidey sense, but maybe he tries to dodge it, but he trips, and then he trips his head into the punch, and then he dies.
Doc Ock swings two arms at him.
Oh, 2 arms, and he doesn't have enough arms to dodge it.
He blocks one, gets hit by the second.
Okay, I like that.
And then,
those are 2 free ideas for you, Joe Kelly.
Yeah. Nathan, you know the game Star Wars Bounty Hunter? It's like an old game. Yeah, no. It's like just an old game that was on like PlayStation 1 or something. You're like Jango Fett or something. And so it's an old game. It's getting enhanced. And it'll be re-released on August 1st for, the new console games or whatever, or next-gen consoles.
Also, pretty cool news, Daniel. We have there's a new X-Men title that was announced. It's going to be Mystique, a 5-issue miniseries written and drawn by Declan Shalvey, which hits the stores October 16th, 2024.
I think a lot of those, like, X-Men solo series come out in like October.
Yeah, I think they wanted to establish what was going on with like the 3 X-Men books that they're doing for some reason, and then do like the spin-off characters. But I think some of the best X-Men stuff is in their solo books.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
there's like a Nightcrawler solo one that I quite enjoy.
Okay. Old Man Logan.
He's alone in that, so pretty good stuff. But Declan Shalvey, he's done that Moon Knight run that I really like. We read on the pod not so long ago. Super good. And he was writing and drawing Old Dog, but now he's on this, which is cool. He's coming back to Marvel.
Sweet.
So pretty cool.
Nathan, you see the trailer for Hellboy? The Crooked Man. So we'll have to read The Crooked Man before that comes out. It's like super short. Because like when Hellboy was coming out, I guess there was like all these like mini like stories. There you can look up like a list, and The Crooked Man is only pretty high up there, so that's good. Jack Kesey is the guy who plays Hellboy. Jack Kesey. And apparently it's gonna come out this year.
Daniel, you know the DC Compact comics that they're coming out with? Start with Watchmen and the Court of Owls Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It's apparently pretty popular. And, you know, who'd have known that accessible comics for a cheap price would have sold pretty well? So now they're doubling down, tripling down, you know.
Yeah, I saw one get sold in real time.
Really?
Yep.
That's exciting. I almost bought one because it was like a slow week for me in the comic shop. I was only buying like 2 comics.
That'd be a good pickup.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to just come here and spend $9, but that's what I did anyway.
This new guy at the shop sold Watchmen to a new reader.
Yikes.
I'm like,
I would have gone with the Batman one.
And the way he described it was like weird. It was like almost seemed like he was talking about like The Boys. He's like, these are people with superpowers, but they're assholes. I'm like, I don't know if that's like the punchline.
Yeah, that's not really the theme that they were going for, but
yeah,
you know, that's funny.
Yeah, and they're like,
so it's safe to say
like
that
The
person,
Boys, and
yeah.
he's like, kind of.
Jesus Christ.
And so
it's safe to say that person will never ever read comics again because they were going to be reading Watchmen, and they're like, what the fuck is this pirate ship? What is this pirate story going on?
Yeah.
But anyway, they're doing more compact comics for hopefully more accessible stories. They're going to do Deceased, Static, Kingdom Come, Batwoman, and then they're going to do, I think this comes out before the rest of them, but Catwoman, Trail of the Catwoman, which is by Darwin Cook and Ed Brubaker.
Nice.
Which I did not know existed.
Yeah, I've seen it around.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to read like Alex Ross's like art in like a smaller format.
Yeah, it'll be a little compact.
But that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
It's cool that they already like decided that Deceased is like a classic, you know?
Yeah, that's a relatively newer one. I wonder like what Batwoman they're going to go with, because I don't know if...
Is there like a definitive run?
I think there's like a Gail Simone one.
That's what I'm thinking of, probably.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think Kingdom Come, it is such like a popular one. So it makes sense that you're like, okay, this is a good one that people like.
Nathan, what's a DC book that you think should be in this compact format?
Be compacted?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a really good question.
That not just one that you like, but one that you think would be good for new readers.
For new readers? Wow. What a good question.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at my... dude, New Frontier.
New Frontier is a little big, isn't it?
I mean, so is Watchmen. It's like about as thick as
Watchmen is pretty
fucking
big, isn't it? Yeah, that's a really good one, actually. Probably if they had to do like a new property, because they have a Batman, they did All-Star Superman, right, in compact form.
I think so. I think that was like the first one.
This was a Superman one. I mean, fucking Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run.
It's like an omnibus compacted.
Yeah, just like a little thing. That'd be kind of sick, actually.
It looks like a dictionary.
It's just so hard to read.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of just like quick, easy, like 12 issue max things, but maybe like
a Mr. Miracle could work.
I think Mr. Miracle might work pretty good.
Oh, dude, fucking Strange Adventures would be way cool. I think
in that compact form.
Yeah,
I think that'd be fun. Yeah, because it's like a whodunit or like Human Target.
A little bit more
cool.
like Human Target.
But those are like so recent, so I don't know if like, you know, they'd probably want something.
But also goated.
They are pretty fucking goated. So
I would like either of those.
Yeah.
I mean, I would get like deluxes of those, but like I think that'd be a good pick.
Yeah. Maybe like The Authority or some shit. I've never read that, but people like it.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
But that'd also be a confusing one because the first trade is done by one team and the second trade is done by another.
Good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think New Frontier is probably like the best one.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
Calling it right now. You heard it here first.
Yep. It's coming.
The next round of
compact comics.
Nathan, we saw A Quiet Place.
Yes, we did.
There's a Quiet Place horror game coming out.
Ooh.
I don't know when it comes out or anything. I just saw like a little trailer. It looks creepy. Probably on all platforms, I think.
Daniel, did you see the Kite Man trailer?
I did.
Kite Man, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I saw a tweet responding to this trailer, and it's like Wonder Woman has never had an animated series, by the way. and now there's a Kite Man, hell yeah series.
Never?
Never.
Oh, damn.
which is doesn't feel great.
It's pretty
knowing that
sexist.
Kite Man is now done that first before Wonder Woman, but
Dude, Hit Monkey has a series before Wonder
before
Woman.
fucking Wonder Woman does. So
That
it's a little crazy.
it shows where our
You
priorities
think
are.
DC Trinity and Wonder
Hit
Woman
Monkey's
is
getting
gonna
a second season.
I know it looks solid, so we'll see. But what I think is cool is that Mitch Gerards did some of the promo / key art for it, apparently. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. You like G.I. Joe? The G.I. Joe book is coming out in November. Josh Williamson and Tom Riley. We love Tom Riley. He's on that Ant-Man thing we did. I think I kind of wish he'd be on more like colorful stuff than like, some war thing or whatever like G.I. Joe is in this universe. Batman or more vampire stories in
He's
him.
like, what if vampires but Batman? That'd be
Yeah.
cool. I think covers are going to be done by Francesco Francavilla, which is pretty cool.
Ooh.
We like him. Or he's a part of it. He was tagged, but I think he's just doing covers.
Okay.
But yeah, how long has Philadelphia been going? Like 30, 40 issues? And
think
he's
it's like,
like,
yeah.
I got more vampire in me.
You think you'd use them all on your creator-owned
Yeah.
Eisner winning?
Yeah. And there's also DC versus vampires.
Has he never done anything else?
Dude, I don't know.
Like,
I would assume. No, I think when we read Philadelphia, I think he's mainly like a writer for TV, isn't he?
oh, right, yeah.
And so I don't know. Maybe he's just like can't get any vampire TV shows going, so he's got all of his ideas here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe vampires are more popular than I think. But I've never really been a big vampire guy.
Philadelphia is cool though.
Philadelphia is pretty cool.
That could be like, it feels like it could be like any monster kind of thing.
Yeah,
And it doesn't feel
like-
too heavy on like vampire stuff.
yeah. They're not like sucking blood that much.
Yeah,
are they?
mostly just murdering.
They're just kind of like attacking you, or like they seem just possessed. But yeah, but yeah, more vampire stuff coming.
So what book did we read this week, Nathan?
Daniel, this week we read The Local Man, or just Local Man,
Yeah.
by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleecs on art.
Tony Fleecs of Stray Dogs fame.
Have you read that? You have, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
I want to. I think that'd be that might be a good normie book for a guest.
I like a good normie book. But yeah, so they created, wrote, and drawn by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleecs with colors by Brad Simpson and Felipe Sobrero. And I thought this was sick.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. That's good.
I think part of the book is like a celebration of 90s comics, but it's set in like the modern day. So a lot of these like 90s comics hero exist in like a modern day like design, which I think is super interesting. And I think they really nailed like the 90s aspect of it when we see some of the 90s drawings and stuff.
Yeah, he's got great art in this.
It is actually insane. Like a lot of the designs for those are like spot on. Like you could tell that they grew up reading like a lot of the 90s stuff.
Like the way he just like draws people is kind of like my ideal like image book.
Yeah,
art,
exactly.
And it just really shows his range because he can draw dogs really well and then also people.
Yeah, with Stray Dogs.
Do you think there's a dog in this just because he did Stray Dogs?
He's like, I got this in my belt. I could do this so easy.
One dog in there at least.
Yeah, probably. But I think it's cool because it's like set in a modern day. It's got a big influence on 90s comics, but there's also like there's like some pretty good drama in here, and there's like a whodunit aspect to it. And so, when I'm not seeing like the 90s stuff that's sort of like scratching that itch of superhero comics that are fun to look at, it's like there's like a whodunit going on, which is kind of a compelling aspect. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, very self-contained trade, which is good.
This was nominated for the best continuing series.
Best new series.
Best new series. My bad.
It ends on like a cliffhanger, to keep you want to keep reading more, but it feels like this arc like wraps up really well.
Yeah, I agree. It's got a good stopping point, I would say. So it feels very full, like something big was like happening throughout the story and it gets resolved. But
right.
There's something where if you want to read more, you can. So I like it. But let's get into it, Daniel, with chapter 1. So it starts with Jack heading back home to Farmington, and the people there hate him for his days as a superhero named Crossjack. So they kind of, shit on him, and like his Uber driver doesn't want to pick him up, and his parents are reluctantly taking him in, but they don't really know, or we don't really know as readers, why he's now out of a superhero job or why the town hates him.
I like that there's just one Uber driver in this like whole town.
Yeah, that would suck.
Like imagine like he also does like Uber Eats or whatever.
Dude,
and
that guy's
so if
busy
you're
all
like
day.
if you're like hungover, you have to like order food and you have to wait like 2 hours
it'd be so miserable.
for Jeff to get around to your order.
Yeah, I hate when I have to wait more than like 30 minutes. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's right there.
I just want Taco Bell. I could go get it if I wanted to, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
So
when he like goes back home, you know, because he got fired or whatever, he goes back and lives with his parents. And his mom is like, why don't you go join like Cyberforce or something, which is like a 90s book created by like Mark Silvestri.
Oh, okay.
And so that's like it
was that like a team book? Probably
a team book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
Yeah. They're all
I
like,
guess she's referencing.
they're all like, I don't know, robot power. I guess they have cyber powers. I don't know what their shtick is.
Cyber is probably pretty big in the 90s.
But yeah, this book is like kind of just placing itself in the Image universe and then referencing things in like the early 90s.
Okay,
stuff.
I don't know if I didn't know about Cyberforce, but they did mention like there's an editor's note about something that happened in Wildcats,
right? Which
I guess was like a Image thing,
which
at
is
first.
originally a Wildstorm thing, which was like an
Image
imprint of Image, but
I
now Wildstorm is at DC.
Is it because Jim Lee made it?
Jim Lee made it, yeah.
Okay, so he just took it over to DC.
Right.
Is that why, like, what's his name? Grifter?
Grifter came over, yeah. It was originally a Wildstorm
Interesting.
property. I
So,
think
like,
the
does
Authority
Jim Lee-
was too.
Does Jim Lee still own Grifter then? If he wanted to, like, take it to Dynamite or whatever?
I think they probably
Because he's in...
bought it.
Grifter's in, like, Flashpoint and shit, right?
Right.
So it's interesting that happened.
I don't know if he'd be able to just take Wildstorm with him if he wanted to go to like Dark Horse.
Dude, probably not. That
He's
sucks.
kind of a head honcho over at DC. He's probably
I think
pretty
he's
set.
cool with where he's at.
Yeah.
But yeah. Did you see that big fiasco where he was charging like $25,000 for a commission?
Yeah, but your
Makes
price.
sense. I think that makes sense. You know.
Yeah, if you want like a commission by like probably the most in demand commission artist, then
Yeah.
he probably doesn't want to do any commissions. But if you're willing to pay like 20,000, then
He's a busy guy. He's like leading up something in DC. I don't even know what he does. But that guy was on Sesame Street, bro.
pretty big guy. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't just get anybody on Sesame Street to just draw something for you.
yeah.
They're like, I'm not gonna get mad that like the artist Michelangelo is charging me a lot for a sculpture. You know, like he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So like DC can barely get him to do anything. I feel like. So
Yeah, like I can't think of like another artist who have like a bigger ticket price.
Yeah.
you know.
Jim Lee streams on Twitch though. It's pretty fun to look at. 'Cause he's just yapping the whole time. Because he's got like, it's funny like watching him because he'll like read chat every once in a while when he's like not drawing, and like someone will say something and he's like, don't know what that means, and he'll just like he'll go back to like keep drawing, and I'm like, this is great. And he's just like drawing like the most obscure character most of the time.
That's why he charges $20,000 a commission, because he's got like 1 million kids and dogs.
Yeah, he does. He's a busy enough man as is.
Yeah.
So, makes sense. I like how in this book they have like a dog that's super old, and he like sees that Pepper, the dog, is still alive, and he's like, wasn't this thing 14 years old when I left? And it's like still kicking. So that's pretty funny.
Those little dogs live forever.
Everybody knows a small dog that's been living for way too long.
An old crusty dog.
Yeah. Old crusty dog. So Jack goes to the bar to just get out of the house, and he finds his old friend Inga there, or he sees her there, and then he stalks her socials real quick, but he gets interrupted by old rival Hodag. And so Jack beats him up, but is thrown out because he's doing superhero stuff in the bar. And he then goes to catch up with Inga, and we find out they used to date. But then Jack's old super team, 3rd Gen, shows up and serves him papers because he's doing superhero stuff when he's not supposed to.
Yeah, because 3rd Gen owns the copyright of Crossjack,
Which is funny to think about.
He's not allowed to superhero.
Yeah, they like caught him using a trash can lid as like a shield, and they like, can't do that. You know, it's in the papers it says no shields.
Hodag has the classic like face inside the mouth kind of costume.
That is such a good 90s design. What is that guy from Black Panther that has it?
Manape.
Yeah, he's got the Manape design. The famous Manape design.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah,
or
there's
like
there's a ton of
the
those.
rhino kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
so that's pretty cool. Good 90s design. I think that like just 3rd Gen is such a good 90s like comic name, and like all of the people on this team feel very 90s, which is cool. It's just fun to see them like walking around, because like there's such a particular flavor about 90s like superhero designs and stuff. So we have
Who's your favorite third gen member, Nathan?
okay, well we have who do we have here? We have Crossjack, which was the main character.
Is your favorite softcore, Nathan?
No, it's not softcore. Softcore's a little much.
Which is such a ballsy name to throw in there.
Softcore for a character whose design is just she's naked but like stone or something. You know, it's a little ballsy.
Yeah.
I like the guy with the knives. Fucking
Cutting edge.
Cutting edge, yes.
Knife hands. Yeah, that's definitely his name.
I think that's such a cool name, and I don't really know what he does. He just has like knife fingers, but
His design kind of looks like, oh, I need to make up a 90s design for this book.
it does a little bit.
The best one is obviously Big Island. Nathan.
Big Island's pretty fucking cool.
His origin is that he fell into like a volcano during like a sacrifice or something, and then he got like, I don't know, Hawaiian powers. He can make the best Hawaiian rolls.
Doesn't he have like a thing, like a it's clobbering time sort of a statement that he says before he starts clobbering?
I think he just says it's time to rock and roll or something. He's the big brute.
That's
of character.
badass.
His design is awesome. He's got like the, I don't know, like
tribal stuff. I don't know.
like a hula skirt or something.
Yeah,
and it's fucking sick.
Every old 90s team needs a big guy.
Big Island would fucking whoop Maui's ass.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, he bodies a demigod easily.
We always like read some book about like some, you know, new superhero universe, and there's always one character that's just so fucking cool, and
they
like,
nail it one time when they're not trying to.
And so like underused in like the book.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's like it's funny because it's almost always a character that doesn't get a whole lot of like screen time in the books.
Yeah,
because when we were reading Minor Threats, it was like that Eagle dude.
US Eagle. He was so fucking cool. He was perfect.
We were talking to fucking Ryan Brown, who's gonna be on a Minor Threats book, and we were like, can you put US Eagle in there? And he had no idea what we were talking about.
He's like, US Eagle's not in here.
He didn't know we were even talking about, dude. You remember that? We were like, oh, he's got a good design.
I think about that sometimes because he's like, oh, that brain guy is in here. And I'm like, brain tease. But he's like, wow, how do you know that?
It was so
like,
fresh in our minds because we just read it.
We read it like a month before that.
Yeah. Brain tease. But that's such a funny interaction.
Good book.
We knew more about the book that he was drawing. This is very funny.
It was crazy to me that like just the pages for this book that's like not even out yet.
You could buy them
on sale. Yeah.
It was cool.
And like
he was cool.
What's crazy is like they weren't like that expensive.
No, I almost bought one for like
$200-$300 or something like that. And
he's like elite.
It might be a kick-ass book. Yeah, his pages are awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to pick him up just based off the pages that I saw. 100%.
I just kind of like the name Barfly.
Barfly.
You know? I got to know what that guy's about.
I think he barfs.
It's a drinking comic book, dude. So sick.
That sounds cool. So anyway, Hodag later while he's in jail is killed Spawn style. So he's like wrapped up in chains.
Like the ice cream guy.
Like the ice cream man.
In like issue 4 of Spawn or whatever.
Yeah, so he gets killed, and then it jumps to like at the end of every issue they have like an epilogue comic, which is like a 90s comic at the time, and this one's for Crossjack, and it introduces his old team taking down the villain team, the Desolators, and we learn that Camo Crusader and Neon are married, and Camo Crusader beats the fuck out of Crossjack's archenemy Hodag, but like beats the fuck out of him.
Yeah, like
goes a little bit harder than he should.
Yeah, like permanently like handicaps him.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep, it's like pretty bad. So, but this is my shit. The whole 90s like comic thing is so good because they like nail these designs. It feels very like Liefeld, and like even like the lettering and stuff feels very 90s because there's like big bold things, and it's very cool.
Yeah, this back part is called Baptism by Fire, which I think is like a reference to the first trade of Savage Dragon.
Oh yeah,
is what it's called, Baptized in Fire or something like that.
Yeah,
which is
cool.
Fun.
It'd be cool if we saw Savage Dragon just in the background.
I would love that.
Yeah,
I hope like there has to be an appearance by like one of these characters that they're referencing all the time. Yeah, right? Maybe like in the later issues.
It would be cool. Maybe if he wins an Eisner, he'll get the thumbs up. He'll get the okay to use like a Spawn or something. But
yeah,
the villains, pretty 90s villains. They got some cool names. We got Fright Side.
Best villain.
That
in
is
this.
such a good villain name.
Great name, great design.
Yep. Painkiller, which is, I think, pretty good. It looks like he brings a lot more pain. Hodag, of course. Merciless, which is showing a lot of skin. And then Superio, which is like a communist villain. It seems like there was a lot of those probably at the time. So gotta have one of those in there.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because like these 90s comics in the back serve as like documentation for what happens in like the real world of this book, even though they have like, it seems like these issues come out monthly, and so
they're like comics within this comic.
Yeah, but they're like comics, like how in like the Boys show there's like comics of the Seven.
Yeah,
it's like this is comics of Crossjack and Third Gen and stuff. But I wonder if like what happens if it's like a slow month for Third Gen and they like still need to come out with the book monthly, you know? Because it seems like
probably make up some shit.
Yeah, they probably. So
I feel like the Boys should have like a comic like in the show.
Do I have a book for you?
No. Like in the show,
I'm about to blow your fucking mind right now.
Someone should pick up like a Homelander comic or something.
That'd be cool.
Or like a Seven comic. Just like a little reference, you know? Just like have someone do a cool cover.
I think there's some stuff like have Derek Robertson draw it. That would be cool.
Yeah, because it's all
I
like
want to say
shows and movies and stuff that they're in.
I want to say there is somewhere in there, but I could be wrong.
I feel like I missed it. I feel like I really would have remembered that if they did.
Dude, in this newest season when they were spoilers for the newest season of The Boys if you haven't watched it, but that scene where he makes like Black Noir and A-Train like kill those fans.
Yeah.
In that room, there's comics on the wall, and I had to like pause and like look at what comics were like on the wall.
Oh, actually,
yeah, it was like too blurry for me to see, but I could tell that they were like old Image books.
Oh, you think they were like actual?
They were like
books in real
actual
life?
comics. There weren't any like the Boys comics, but it seemed like there would have been like a team book or something like this on there.
Okay.
So, but I always try and do that. So issue 2, Daniel. So the police show up at Jack's parents' place wanting to question Jack for the murder of Hodag. Okay, the cop that brings him in is Jack's old friend Inga's husband, named Brian. And so he tells the cop Brian that they were catching up last night, him and his wife, which is Jack's alibi. And so he like lets him go, but also Jack now has like a drone that follows him to make sure he isn't doing any like superheroics, which is weird.
It's crazy that like the cop's like, "What's your alibi?" And then he's like, "Call your wife."
Yeah, he would get fucking beat up for that shit.
Yeah, you get your nose broken.
Yeah. But no, it's like a real alibi.
Yeah.
I would approach it been like, "Oh, it's actually funny story."
It's weird that they like let him go because he probably wasn't with her like the entire night. You know, he could have like hung out with her, laughed, and then killed Hodag.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So,
they don't know like the time of when like Hodag actually
but
died.
Hodag was like in jail, so it's like there was no footage,
no cameras.
Yeah, camera.
Yeah,
little suspicious.
Little suspicious. I think like some of the good stuff of this book is there's like a little bit of drama in here that keeps you interested, like about Jack's life as you go.
Yeah,
because Inga never told Brian, the cop, that she even knew who Crossjack was, but they clearly have some sort of like relationship before, or like we find out that they were dating. And so the fact that she like never brings up her ex is Crossjack, a dude that's like super famous in the town of Farmington that they live in, is interesting. And you're like, okay, why didn't she bring him up?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's that about? So there's like little nuggets in there, which is fun. So Jack visits the mom of Hodag, like they know each other, I guess, and she knows that Jack wouldn't kill Hodag even though they were like arch enemies, at least publicly. And she even like thanks Jack for fucking Camo Crusader's wife Neon, because Hodag like never fully recovered after Camo Crusader like beat the shit out of Hodag, which we saw in the 90s comic from the issue before.
Yeah,
like he got hit so hard that there's like spinal fluid leaking out of him and shit, so it was always hard for him to like recover. And so that's like an interesting development, because we didn't know, we were like, why did Crossjack get fired? But turns out, you know, he was fucking Camo Crusader's wife, who's like the leader of the team. So there's like that development that happens. But it's also interesting because I still don't really know where there's like a line, or like where the line is on actual heroics that seem to happen, and what part of it is like staged. Because it seems like part of it is staged because of what Hodag's mom says about like how Hodag chose him as like an arch enemy because he wouldn't beat him up like that bad, and how he's like more interested in like the image of stuff. So it seems mostly real, but it seems like there's also an element of like doing stuff for publicity. So
Yeah, I mean, like, you can stop like a bank robber or something, but then also like, you know, when there's no crime, I guess you could just fight your nemesis and like not cause any damage.
Or like they're pretty worried about optics and stuff, it seems like.
Yeah.
So clearly they do like some minor things, I think, staged, but I think for the most part it's all real. So it's just interesting that like there's parts of it that are like fabricated. But anyway, Crossjack goes home. He destroys the drone, and then he puts on a new mask to go solve Hodag's murder.
And they have like the talking heads on the news, like how Spawn does.
Yep, there's a Spawn sort of sequence, so a little homage there. And then in the 90s issue for this, it's Crossjack and Company, good name. And 3rd Gen opens up a 4th Gen training facility, and Crossjack takes down Hodag at the sort of ribbon cutting event. And then there's like a public relations guy that shows up and sort of like plans their next steps.
Yeah, and the PR guy, he's like, I think you should do like a team up. I think we get like Shadowhawk. And Shadowhawk is like a 90s character by Jim Valentino.
Oh.
Like I think that was his first like Image
That's
book.
cool. So kind of like cementing it more into like early 90s stuff.
Right.
That's pretty fun.
Every issue is like, don't forget.
Yeah, don't forget
this
we're
is the 90s.
Yeah,
this is
why you
the
should
real
care.
Image universe. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if like the issue after this, it's like, oh man, Savage Dragons, they're like on the news, like Savage Dragon solved this big case.
Yeah.
But it's fun. This one is kind of interesting because we see Inga in like this sort of flared up 90s design.
Yeah.
And it's kind of jarring because we saw her in like the more realistic sort of drawing first, and then we see her in this like 90s comic then. So it's just funny like how different she is. She's like wearing hoop earrings and stuff in this. So it's fun to compare what she looks like modern versus 90s comics. So but in issue 3,
best cover.
Great cover.
It's not even like any of the main characters, but it's just like, it's really cool. It almost looks like
a Sienkiewicz type
Bill
thing.
Sienkiewicz, yeah, for sure.
Which is cool.
Ooh, Bill Sienkiewicz drawing Fryside would be sick.
Ooh, give me a Fryside book. He would never.
Just like at least a variant, you know?
Yeah, that would be cool. So yeah, issue 3, Jack is still masked, and he's got
the Killer Be Killed mask, Nathan.
Ooh, another Image thing. That would be crazy if Killer Be Killed was set in like early 90s Image.
Yeah, like it wouldn't even like work.
It doesn't make any sense at all. But maybe this is like a boy version of Frightside because there's a demon in that book too.
Ooh,
you never know. Maybe we missed part of it in those 30 issues that came out. But Jack, while masked, goes to the 4th Gen training facility to meet Hodag's old teammate Frightside, who has a demon like side to her. It's like part of her powers, but she's like overcome it, and she like became a famous author writing about like her experiences overcoming her demons. Literally.
Yeah, writing like self-help books.
Yeah. And so he finds out that she didn't kill Crossjack, and so he leaves like the 4th Gen training facility to, you know, find more leads, but he saves an old dude from getting hit by a car.
It was like a priest that was like watching his dog while he like went in there, and for some reason, like for thanking him for watching his dog for like a couple minutes, he's like, oh, by the way, God is real, you know, because he's like a part of like a heaven and hell war that was going on,
and he's like, God's, you're doing good stuff.
He's like, I saw him. Yeah. He's kind of weird, but I saw him.
Like, I don't even know how he would take that, because like he didn't hear him fully, but it like
he's like,
it seems weird to be
he's
like
old, and I think he's probably believed in God like his whole life. Like he didn't need that, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Like he was gonna carry on with what he was doing, so I don't know.
Right. He'd still whack the weeds or whatever.
I feel like reading a book from like a real life supervillain would be pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah.
To just like hear about villain shit that she did. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, like her like memoir of like how, I don't know, she came to God, or like she like,
or like other demons that she's fought, or things like that.
That's definitely be also the demon of alcoholism.
No.
Or whatever.
The biggest demon of all.
Yeah.
Gambling addiction.
My childhood trauma.
Yeah. But like, it seems like this would be something that would happen and people would be like pretty fucking stoked to read. So I can see that.
I feel like that's something that would happen in like The Boys, you know?
Yeah. That like Nazi chick would like come out of the book.
Or like when like The Deep had like that documentary or whatever.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
His life in the 7 or whatever. And then his like girlfriend wrote a book about like it's called like Into the Deep or something.
Into Deep.
Into
All of those are so. Anytime he's like promoting like a new show or movie he's doing, and he's like running in, he's like trying way too hard to like promote something. It fucking kills me every time I watch that show.
I always think of like the meme where it's like,
yeah, he's just like posing.
Where they're like they're gonna introduce like a new member, but it's just the Deep again.
That was dude, there's so many good memes that come from that show.
Oh, there's tons. Sarah started like lightly watching that while I was watching it, and she's like, "I've never heard of this show." I'm like, "Yes, you have." The memes are everywhere, and you just didn't know it.
Yeah. They also talk about something in this book called the AFEC engine, which sounds exactly like the kind of thing that would be in an old 90s comic, just like some weird cosmic thing that would like, I don't know.
It just makes me think of that like weird big golden tower thing that was in Infinite Crisis or whatever.
Yeah.
That like
I couldn't tell you what it was called.
That Alexander Luthor made or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it
just like a thing that does things.
Made more planets or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But we don't really know what it does, but it definitely sounds like the kind of thing that would be in a 90s book. So.
Yeah.
But later we see Frightside is attacked in her hotel by the same mysterious figure that killed Hodag, presumably. But Jack and Inga talk again about like their pasts, and then Jack kisses her, but Inga pushes him away because obviously she's married and has kids. She's like, what the fuck was that? And then at the 3rd Gen HQ, they see the news line that a local man saves a dude from a car crash, which is obviously Jack, but they don't know for sure. And then we see Frightside dead in her room. Yeah.
I think that's because like when I went to go like pick up this book, it's because I like heard it was like pretty good, and I don't know if like local man is necessarily like a name that like grabs me.
Yeah.
But it is cool because it seems this is like something that would be in like a headline. Like,
yeah.
Local man saves priest or whatever.
That part of it is pretty creative.
And it's cool that like that is like the title.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. I think it's a good way for somebody to get like a name or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel shoehorned like how Invincible gets his name or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
There could be like definitely cheesy titles for this. And I think this works like the best. Like I couldn't think of like a better thing,
especially because this is his new persona because he lost Crossjack, you know, so it's like this is me now, and he still has like the same heroic intentions, so yeah, it works well. I like that Camo Crusader works out by just dragging a big stone cross like around, which is like really funny to me. Like all of his workout material needs to be like religion themed.
Yeah.
Like he's carrying buckets of like holy water or something.
He has like kettlebell swings with like with them
with holy water.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
He's like on a treadmill, but he's just running towards like the body of Christ, you know.
That's a good one.
Rather than like a cookie or something.
If he's like punching church bells instead of like a punching bag.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That'd be good. So yeah, I just like that he has to be like super extra in that way because that's like his brand, I guess. So it's fun.
Yeah.
And I have a theory, Daniel, that Frightside had to release her demon for the first time in like a while to like help protect herself from this dude. And I think that the demon killed her, even though she's
that's not
drowned.
What happens. But like,
what do you mean?
That would be cool to be like a misdirect almost.
Yeah.
But I feel like with like this book and it's like a new property, you have to like, you know, not.
What if the demon's out there?
It has to like the killings have to be like connected, you know.
I just think she builds up this fact that she's like letting the demon come out to help protect her, and then at the last page, you know, her hand is down, but the demon, you know, text is still coming out or whatever.
You think the demon would get out if she was dead?
That's what I'm thinking. Or is the demon stuck in there forever now? Because that's kind of sad too.
Like the demon has motive. Like it's been like suppressed for like years.
Yeah,
and so
it'd be like, if you let me out, I'm staying out. You know,
right?
So, but in the 90s comic for this, it's a 3rd Gen comic book, and we see how Neon and Crossjack started their little love triangle with Camo Crusader, which is when the whole team was fighting demons coming out from like a portal to hell. And while Camo Crusader was busy fighting Satan like in hell, Crossjack and Neon were on Earth just fighting demons that have come out of that portal, and that's when they kiss. They do a little kiss.
Yeah.
And
Neon is like a very exposed character. Like she's very little, lot of skin, and they just like shoehorn in like a reason why she's dressed so slutty,
which is Which is, yeah, it's like a very horny design, and it's very funny the way that they explain it, because
it's like giving like Power Girl like a reason to have the boob window.
She's like, I just don't feel like I have the crest, or I deserve the crest. So
I don't think I'm a Kryptonian, you know.
Yeah. Just make it white then. You don't need a boob window.
Yeah, so I guess she like absorbs light, and having more skin exposed helps with that.
Yeah, she absorbs light through her skin.
But she also has like thigh-high boots on, so there's really like...
Yeah, there's room for like more skin here, so
yeah,
it's just interesting.
And like gloves that like go up to like her biceps.
Yeah, maybe she gets most of it through her boob window.
Oh yeah, she also has a boob window.
She also has a boob window, Daniel. Yeah, we were making... Yeah. I love that. So, but I think she said she came from a place where she was like she was like naked running around.
Yeah,
so
she grew up in like a cult or something.
Or like... I got that she was like maybe like an alien or something, like a Starfire.
Alien cult. Or maybe she was raised in a cult, but she was an alien.
Like a nudist cult? As an alien?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. You're
Best
right.
kind of cult.
Yeah, but it's definitely like an old comics explanation as to like, oh, this is why she's...
Yeah.
You know, that's why. Don't be... don't suppress her.
What do you think about this Satan design?
He looks like a Spirit Halloween prop.
Oh my god, he totally does, and I love it. He's always got his tongue out.
Got tongue out, being like, bleh. Like it looks like he like shoots forward at you like a little bit.
Yeah,
when you push the button.
That's crazy.
He is like a pretty silly looking.
You nailed that. Yeah,
devil. So, yeah, issue 4. Jack is looking around a spot that Hodag used to think was like a secret villain lair, so he's just kind of like investigating around there. Which is a bit of a stretch, I feel like. If you're trying to solve a murder and you're like, I don't know, he used to hang out around here, let me go over there. But Brian, the cop from before, questions Jack about the local man running around, and Jack makes a run for it, and he dives into like the water, and he finds a secret lair accidentally in there. And so in the cave, he finds this thing called the Mercy Seat, and he's like, whoa, that's a little bit weird. But then also Camo Crusader shows up, and Jack's happy to see him at first. He's like, dude, there's some fucked up stuff happening in this town, and I think 3rd Gen needs to be here for it. But then he gets surprised when Camo Crusader starts to attack him, which is a pretty good twist, I would say, because it's like you don't expect people from like his old team to be part of anything malicious.
In his hometown.
It's kind of cool to see. And so Crusader fights Jack, saying that like he stole his future from him with Neon, and saying weird stuff about how they were going to have kids, or how they would have had kids. And the fighting is stopped by the Brian police dude. And Crusader starts like getting a little bit more sinister, and he's like, I can't believe you're going to make me kill a cop now. And so he's about to kill Brian. But Jack manages to hit Crusader in the eye with the one weapon that he never mastered, which is the bow and arrow.
He said he was aiming for his hand.
Yeah, he was aiming for his hand, but I guess he missed and hit him in the eye. And so Crusader dies.
Him on accident.
Yeah. So Crusader dies, and then Jack passes out. And I just like this scene a lot, because there's like there's good intensity in like the action, because a lot of the backgrounds, or just like the characters in general, turn like a deep red with like some yellow stuff in the background.
Yeah.
So it feels pretty brutal in that sense. We didn't talk about like Crossjack's superpower, but he has like the ability to feel the potential in anything that he touches, and so that's why he's able to like throw things really well, I guess. I
just like told myself he's like Deadshot.
Yeah, you know, or like a Hawkeye type thing. Like he can just throw things pretty well,
right.
Except for a bow and arrow, which they have like a reason for, because he like tried to hunt with his dad once, and he like disappointed him, and so now he gets weird about bows and arrows, I guess. But it's not like a great explanation in my mind. But
yeah, because then like it feels like less of he has powers, that rather than he just was really skilled at a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I agree. And then I'm still confused on like what Crusader's end goal was with like this Mercy Seat thing, and he was also trying to hunt down the AFEC engine, and like how that was supposed to work together. Because I think like his plan, he says his plan was to like make himself immortal, but it seemed to be fueled by his hate for Crossjack, and so I don't know how those two things would like solve his issue.
I got very confused at this point.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is his end goal?
I was just like chugging along. Hopefully, it would explain itself.
Yeah.
But it's not super clear.
Yeah, or maybe Crossjack was just like there in the middle of what he was trying to do, and so he's like, okay, I gotta kill you now, or like, because he mentioned he was like, you couldn't just like leave this alone, or like you had to come back to your town or something. But
right,
it was like a little strange. But
yeah, it's just because he like was interfering.
Yeah,
some shit he was
that's
working
probably
on.
what it was. Like, I don't think he was doing this thing to get back at Crossjack. He's just independently pissed at him for something.
Mm.
But I think it would be cool to know what these like specific devices do a little bit more clearly, because we just got introduced to whatever this mercy seed is, and apparently it has like a lot of wisdom, but I don't really know how you use it. So
Right.
but anyway, the cop brings Jack back to the 4th gen facility to have him rest and also keep Jack away from the public once he, reports Jack killed a Camo Crusader, because he's a cop. He has to like report it, which is like a thing that I really like, because Crossjack is like, you don't have to report it. And he's like, I am not like you. I'm a cop. I have to report this. And I'm like, that's based.
You still got a job to do.
Yeah. And so as the cop leaves, he's killed by just some random dude with teleporting powers that teleports in and he stabs him. And that's like the cliffhanger for that part. And then in the 90s comic, this one's a Neon comic, we see the story of 3rd gen leaving a planet, but while they're leaving a planet, the ship that has Neon, Crossjack, and Camo Crusader crash lands on another remote planet, and so they're like stuck there. And during this time, a couple months go by, and Camo Crusader asks Crossjack to fuck his wife, because I think like Camo Crusader's skin is so tough that he can't feel like dick sensation or something, so maybe he like can't get it up, or he can't like please her.
He can't feel the touch of his wife.
Yeah, and so he asks Crossjack to like fuck his wife, and he like cucks for him, and this is wild.
I love this part.
This was like, I never expected like this to like happen, because he's such like a religious like dude, and so just the adultery aspect of it, like you don't expect, but he feels bad for his wife at the same time, so he's like, I need you to fuck my wife.
They've been on like this, alien planet for, it seems like months.
Yeah, like a long time.
And Neon's getting like very weak because she's like a vegetarian or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like rather than, I guess, keep looking for something for her to eat or whatever, Camo Crusader's like, she needs some dick,
Yeah, that's a good solution.
Yeah. And so I don't know, I feel like you would want to preserve your calories a little bit more.
Yeah, this seems like not the priority.
Yeah.
If you wanted to pleasure your wife, maybe wait and make sure that she's
just
alive.
get a
maybe
toy
they're just, like,
or something, or
well, they're on just a remote planet, but you'd think you'd like wait until you're back home to like figure this part out,
Yeah, and like,
and he's like right outside the tent.
I know, go for a walk, dude.
Yeah, he's like there listening, like he knows what's going on. Just like the face that he has, he's like looking up at this guy. He's like, oh my god,
yeah,
woe is me. And I feel like they kind of tease some sort of like polyamorous relationship too, because there's like a hunting scene where Crossjack, who isn't good with bow and arrow, is trying to like hunt down like a space deer, and Camo Crusader like guides his hands like you would when you're like trying to teach your girl how to play golf or something. And and they're like super buff and shirtless in this scene, and so it's just like inherently like a little bit like bisexual, which is, I think is very funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a wild thing. And so like I just wasn't expecting this, and it's just one of those things where I'm just like, what the fuck? And so it kind of like draws you in because of how like unexpected it is. But it's not like crass necessarily in the way that like the boys would be.
I think the personal relationships in this book are the most interesting
They're
part.
so strong,
Yeah, like I mean, like the superhero stuff is like cool, and like the whodunit or whatever, but like how interesting Crossjack's life has been is kind of my favorite part.
Yeah, I think they also do good to not oversaturate it with like the other 3rd gen heroes too, like trying to set up some sort of personal life for them. Like I like Big Island, he's cool.
Yeah,
but like I don't think I need to know what he's going on in his life at this point. I mean, like the love triangle, I would read it too. I'd be, that's a bad example. But yeah, I don't need to know what softcore's got going on,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this like love triangle aspect keeps like the 90s aspect of it interesting. So issue 5, 3rd gen is on their way back to check on Camo Crusader, who has no like vital readings now that they can read. So, and then Jack walks around in the 4th gen facility that he's at, but he's attacked by the same teleporting dude who took those powers from a 4th gen superhero named Peekaboo, which is a great teleporter superhero name.
Yeah,
Peekaboo. But he's fighting Jack because he's mad at him for leaving the town when he was Crossjack, which somehow eventually led to this guy's dad being out of a job because there weren't jobs at the 4th gen facility anymore.
Yeah, the facility like shut down and became like a community center,
and so his dad lost his job.
He's just mad at Crossjack for like hurting the economy.
Yeah, which is kind of a weak motive, you know.
Yeah,
like the economy's pretty hard right now, but
to
I'm not
be
gonna
like a serial killer. You know?
Yeah, to, like kill cops and like fucking steal people's powers, teleport and like stab people. So I don't know. Like the economy's pretty hard, but I'm not gonna go like kill somebody over it.
Right.
It's hard to place that on one person. I think he also calls himself Deliverance, which is kind of a cool name, I guess. But
maybe if you're like omnipotent or something, but like for just a teleporting guy with like a mullet.
Yeah, he's got this cool page though where he's like teleporting to like, you know, different spots on like this page.
Yeah, good
he's
page.
like running through it. He's kind of like monologuing as he's teleporting around. So I like to think that Crossjack can't hear him and he's just like gone for a little bit and he was like, where'd he go?
Yeah, I put him out of his
and here I am walking by and he's just gone.
And you bitch. And
so this guy kills Jack's dog's Pepper because he's there.
Bad book.
Which means it's a bad book, Daniel. And while Jack was distracted, you know, by his dog dying, he almost gets killed by a weight machine that was about to be teleported on top of him. But the teleporter is shot by Inga, who was called by Brian, like, and she was able to like save Brian just in time and like call an ambulance and stuff. And so the teleporter dies, but also Pepper is alive because during the course of the fight, Pepper like accidentally stumbles into one of the like superhero chamber things and
is invulnerable now or something.
He's like invulnerable, but he seemed dead for like a little bit there, so I don't know what his power is. Maybe he's got like a healing factor.
Yeah, maybe it's like
maybe that's why he's been living
Kimiko
for so long
or something.
Yeah, he's like a Kimiko now. But it kind of sucks because if he just got a healing power, I feel like he's stuck in this like state where he's like 20 years old as like a dog.
Oh yeah, so he'll live even longer now.
Yeah, he'll live even longer, but like he just has no teeth now. You know.
When I first read this, I thought it was some sort of time travel thing for some reason. Like I didn't even like think about it long enough for it to make sense. But but if a dog is killed, but he like is revived or like comes back to life, is it still a bad book?
I think because I like this book, I'm going to stretch the rule a little bit. For those that don't know, we've decided that if a dog dies in like a book or like a movie, it's a bad book or movie. You know, you shouldn't be killing dogs. The exception to this is Afterlife with Archie, where there's a pretty good scene where like a dog sacrifices himself, and that's just a kick-ass book. So we can't call that a bad book. Right. And then also I Am Legend.
Nope, bad movie.
No, it's not a bad movie.
Didn't like it.
That's the only two exceptions so far. But since, you know, it seems like he killed a dog, but then the dog's still alive, or like he got superpowers or whatever. If he time traveled, I don't know. But there's like a net zero dogs being killed, because if that dog died and another same dog came to life.
Last page, no dead dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll allow it.
There's a net zero, and it's not a bad book.
Yeah.
So then, you know, the modern part of the book ends with Third Gen shows up. Jack confirms to Neon that, you know, he had to kill Camo Crusader because he was mad that, you know, Crossjack and Neon had an abortion for a child that would have been raised by Camo Crusader. And so that's like the big reveal is that there's like an abortion that happened. And since Camo Crusader is like pretty religious, he probably wasn't a super big fan of that. But then she is talking about how she like did it because Crossjack cares more about like his image than really anything else. And so she didn't want to like have a kid with him, something like that.
Yeah,
so
I wasn't really sure why he was mad.
Yeah, and so she like leaves with Third Gen. We see Brian, the cop, is alive and in a hospital bed, but Jack is fucking his wife Inga at home now, which is a little fucked up.
Dude, fucking dude's wife while you're
in the hospital bed, incapacitated.
Eesh.
You dog, Crossjack.
Which is kind of weird because it didn't feel like there was like that chemistry being like relit or whatever. That spark, because like
they kissed and then she's like, "Get the fuck away from me."
Yeah, and so it seemed like he was in kind of a creepy zone for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, he brought his dog to like the dick appointment. Like the Pepper's still there. So, but she like kicks him out.
Man's
like,
best friend, you know, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it's funny. It's at her house.
Yeah, she's like, you gotta
in
get
this
out.
Dude's bed.
The kids are coming home. She says, "You gotta get out." And so it's like, what the fuck?
her husband's mom's gonna drop off the kids.
Yeah.
Fucked.
Terrible. And so then we see Inga is not who we think she is, because she's working with some secret organization doing some sketchy villain shit, and we see her go to like a remote warehouse thing, and we see that she has the AFEC engine. So that's pretty interesting.
Very fishy.
And then in the 90s comic for this issue, it's called 4th Gen. We see Camo Crusaders training the new generation of heroes called 4th Gen, but he isn't happy with like their personalities and how also 2 of them are like gay for each other. And so he promises the vice president to get rid of them to please the investors, and he's going to like create a new group of like 4th Gen heroes, I guess. So, you know, something a little shady going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is like a reveal where like this team is mainly funded, you know, by certain like investors and stuff, which is an interesting reveal. And it goes all the way up to like the president or vice president at least.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's interesting. I think probably most of 3rd Gen probably knows about this, but maybe just Crossjack didn't. Or maybe it is only Camo Crusader who's kind of like pulling the strings here.
No.
So it's interesting. So, but with that, we'll go into Back Matter Matters.
Back matter matters.
And this is probably some of the most authentic back matter I feel like we've gotten, because, you know, it goes into like the local man sketchbook, and we find out that like a lot of the designs for like the 90s heroes and stuff are like actual designs that like Tim Seeley designed back in like 1990s when he was like 15 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
And so like Crossjack is like pretty much exactly the same. It says like Crossjack looks like a 90s superhero character because he is a 90s superhero character. Tim made him up at age 15 in 1992 as the star of a self-published comic called Scleros. His look changed only little in the 30 years since that humble debut, which is pretty fucking cool.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good design too for like a 15-year-old to make.
Yeah, definitely.
And so like same thing with like Camo Crusader was one of Tim's first ever superhero creations, which is pretty fun. Or even like characters like Inga looked way different, but he used like the same name and sort of personality for that person, but just tweaked it for this book, which is cool. Got a Big Island OG design.
Yeah.
So Tony added cyber to his design, which he like I guess does a lot in this book, because like Hodag didn't have cyber arms before, but he does at the end. So there's still like some tweaks that were made.
Big Island's got robot legs.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Or like Neon, like the overall design is like about the same as far as her costume or like what she wears goes, but originally she was white light and all of her clothes were white, but they changed it for this book to be neon with like a pink and blue color palette. So pretty cool. It's nice to see that, you know, these are characters that have been like living in their heads for so long. So, and then we got some covers, and these are pretty fun too, because it seems like they're homaging like eras of like old Image comics, old Image like cape books, which is pretty cool. I don't know enough about old Image comics to name specifically what they are, but you could tell one of them's pretty specifically like Spawn.
Yeah.
A Spawn cover, so that's pretty cool too. So they had a lot
Does
of
this
fun
look
with
like Wizard to you?
I was trying to figure out what that was, but it does seem like Wizard, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think it is actually, because it's got like the little text at the top too to like tell you what's going on in the issue.
Like a magazine.
So that's pretty cool. You know, one of them's probably like a next gen homage or something like that. So pretty cool. They had a lot of creative ways to celebrate like sort of the 90s aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I think that's what I like about this book the most, is that like the 90s stuff of it is like in like bite-sized pieces to where you can just kind of enjoy some of the absurdity of some of it, but like how kind of cool it is at the same time. So I think they really nailed like that aspect
without
of it.
like reading like a whole like 90s book.
Yeah, because like if it was all 90s feeling, it would, you know, to try and match that vibe, I think they'd put like a lot more dense dialogue and stuff in it that I don't think would serve the book super well. So,
yeah, kind of tiring to go back to some stuff.
So I think they nailed this specifically. There's also like this cool like Spider-Man like homage cover.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So I like that. But what would you rate this book, Daniel?
I think I would rate an eyes no, Nathan.
An eyes no? Yeah, so Eisner or eyes no? Because what else is this book up against?
It's up against Black Cloak, Phantom Road, Samna, but I think it's going to be beat out by Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
Yeah,
which is a book that I think will probably sweep the Eisners this year.
Yeah, that is a really strong book, and I feel like it took a lot of people by surprise.
But then again, this book, I think, celebrates comics a lot more.
Yeah, so maybe that's
compared to the other one, so it could possibly win because of that.
Yeah, I think that's good because I feel like there's a lot of Oscar movies that win that are like about making movies or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe this is kind of the same thing. I don't think this is like Eisner bait or anything, but honestly, to me, it's like 50-50 whether this wins or Beneath the Trees wins. But
it's like 75-25.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Local Man's definitely like a close runner-up, I think.
Yeah,
but
I just think like
we also haven't read
Beneath the
everything
Trees
else.
just feels very just different, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
So
yeah, I
new.
think it's just like it's very, compelling read.
Definitely.
Not that this isn't, but because I really enjoyed this, but yeah, it's a toss up between those two for me for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, and what would you rate this book normally?
I'd give it a love it with Cherry Garcia.
Okay, nice.
Because it's not something I normally get, but I know it's good, and I definitely like enjoy it every time I get it. You know? So
Okay. I like
I haven't gone past this trade, not because I like don't want to necessarily, but it's just like I kind of more read like what I'm pulled to more recently. So I'm sure the next
fair
trade
enough.
is pretty solid, and it's still going on.
Yeah,
So,
it's at like 11 right now, so we're not even that far from being caught up.
right.
So that's cool. I'd probably give this. I really like it, so I'd probably give it like I gotta have it. I think, but multiple scoops, and maybe like a scoop of ice cream that you're really into like right now, and a scoop of ice cream that you used to like as a kid. And so like just put those two together.
So
for, like, some nostalgia.
Mine would be like coffee and rainbow sherbet.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yummy.
So everybody loves coffee sherbet. Everybody knows that.
And then it like melts together.
The color that would make would not be nice.
Oh, gross.
I'd probably do like a coffee now and then like some sort of chocolate thing before, and that would be good.
That'd work, yeah.
But the sherbet would make sense because of all the colorful 90s books.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, pretty good. I like this overall. It's a good, celebration, and you can tell there's a lot of heart that's put into like this, and how modern comics feel and how they should be written, and how like 90s comics were.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Well, let's get into the poll list. Colon.
Shove in your box.
The poll list. What did you shove in your box? What do you got this week, Nathan?
A bit of a light week, but I picked up Spider-Man Reign or Spider's Reign. I don't remember what it's called, but Spider-Man Reign 2.
Did you read Spider-Man Reign 1?
No.
Ooh.
But I like the artist that's on it, Carrie Andrews, who's got some pretty good art. So I'm interested to read this, and he did the first one, I believe, too. I just haven't read it.
Okay.
But this is the book where Spider-Man kills Mary Jane with like spider sperm that's radioactive. And so I don't know why they're doing a sequel to it, because that book's kind of, I think it's good, but it's infamous for like the spider sperm thing because it's kind of bizarre.
They should have called it Round 2 or something.
Yeah. Or like Spider-Man Reign, Gwen Stacy time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Carrie
Who's
Andrews is pretty great at what he does. There was like a small thing. I don't think it blew up really, but I saw that one of the people that was working on the book denounced that they used AI as like part of it. Because I think there's like a small accusation that was like made, but they did like a mixed multimedia thing as like a part of it, which is why I think some people gave off as that thing. But the way that Carrie Andrews like draws stuff, there's no way that there's no way a robot could fucking do the same shit. So
yeah.
Definitely not. So yeah, I picked up that Batman number 150 has come out. So I got to catch up on that. And then Absolute Power number 1. Me and you both picked it up. We're both excited for Absolute Power,
I'm
the
not.
DC event.
You can miss me with that, dude.
It's Mark Waid and Dan Mora though, Daniel.
Dude, so was Shazam.
It was good. We liked it.
It was okay.
I'm really excited for this. I
Yeah.
want to see Dan Mora just
Let me know.
do literally anything with any character. I don't even know what it's about, but what's attracted to me is that it's only 4 issues for an event.
What's kind of fucked up is like I can't wait to see who Dan Moore works with next.
I feel that.
But he'll probably ride the Mark Waid train for a while.
I mean, Mark Waid's good at what he does.
He is good,
World's Finest
They
is
just
like
need to be hogging Dan Mora, you know.
I mean, that's what good writers
What's
do.
fun about like comics is like you collaborate with different creatives and like you make something like completely
So
different.
you don't like
know?
Tom King and Mitch Gerard's working together for so long?
No, that can keep going.
See, yeah, exactly. Or like,
But like Tom King's also like doing other stuff, I guess,
so is Mark Waid.
with Dan Mora.
Yeah, good point. Or like Ed Brubaker has been, hogging friggin'.
It's because they're married.
Are they?
Sean Phillips.
wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Sean Brubaker.
It's a long distance relationship.
Yeah. So I think that, long form collaborations like this is kind of cool. But yeah, I agree. I think it'd be cool to see Dan Mora paired with someone with like different flavors of your writing.
Yeah.
Because like when we were reading that Shazam book, he's clearly so good at so many different art styles, which he gets to explore in World's Finest. But it'd be kind of cool to see him on like a horror book or something. So, I don't
Right.
know. We'll see. What'd you pick up?
I'm getting Public Domain number 6.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, I think.
Nice. Very
So,
good.
Super light. And also, Nathan, I got a new omnibus.
Ooh.
Yeah, something I had to hunt down because it was out of print. And I just happened to
Okay.
be searching on Midtown Comics on the right time. They had one in stock.
You just opened up the Midtown Comics website?
I had to go pretty deep in like the shopping tab of
Oh.
Google or whatever.
Okay.
And I got the Planet of the Apes omnibus
Holy
from the
shit.
Boom
Whoa, let
Boom
me see
Studios
this. Look at
run.
that. Look at this brick.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
16 issues.
This is
and
clean.
if not more, of Planet of the Apes by Daryl Gregory.
This is cool.
It's awesome. I read the first trade of that, and I'm like, I need more, and I
Oh,
want it.
They're riding
I want-
horses.
I want the collection. Plenty of horses.
This is probably a spoiler, but that was bloody. How far did you read it? Have you read any of it?
It's like 4 or 5 issues, I think.
Oh, okay.
And
This looks awesome.
it's so good.
That's cool.
I'll have to make you read it one day.
Potentially.
But yeah, this was set 500 years before the OG movies.
Oh,
so
okay. So
very
they're not trying to-
self-contained book.
They're not
Doesn't
trying
really
to fit it in between the first 2 movies or whatever.
Yeah, they still talk about like Caesar and stuff, but as like a prophet kind of thing. I don't know.
Okay. I'm confused by that,
Me too.
but whatever.
There's some weird time loop in like Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
But anyway,
That's pretty damn cool.
yeah, it's all dude.
So you had
Jason,
to like,
Jason Aaron.
he did a forward.
A forward. The best Planet of the Apes comic ever.
Wow. Is there a lot?
There's not a lot. It's a pretty short Wikipedia, but I plan on reading all of them.
Holy shit.
That aren't, but like a lot of the Marvel ones, like most of the Marvel ones are just like comic versions of the movies. So I probably won't read those. And they were made like when those movies were coming out.
Yeah.
So they're super like old looking, but
Damn.
so I'm
That's really fucking cool.
yeah,
that's
no,
cool
I'm,
that you got
I'm
that
very
handy for you.
stoked on that. And I honestly thought I wasn't ever gonna get it. And so
Yeah, because
when I found
it's
out,
out
like,
of print,
like, bye, bye,
it's-
bye, bye.
yeah. I mean, if it's out of print, it's hard to hunt down. But
yeah,
that's cool. It's
So-
part of the hunt.
very stoked. Yeah, dude.
Nice.
And then did you read anything?
I read the Zatanna book. Zatanna Bring the House Down, I think is what it's called, by Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez.
Uh-huh.
And this book is pretty phenomenal. I'd say.
Really?
Yeah. Mainly because of like the Javier Rodriguez art. He's like a super creative artist.
Did he do the cover?
He did the cover, yeah.
Does the interiors look like the cover?
Yes.
Okay. Nice.
100%. Yeah. Like he does the art and coloring for it, and he really like knows
Wow.
himself pretty well.
Are you gonna get number 2?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh wow.
I didn't.
Okay.
I like picked it up because like last week because
Super light, right?
It was like a light week, so I was like, okay, I'll check this out. I like Javier Rodriguez. I follow him on Twitter, and he does good stuff. But I think he also did the Spider Woman when she's pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And I've read something else by him, but I was just reading this, and it's just like they do such a good, they get so creative with like the comics medium and how they like portray magic and Zatanna, and I think the story of it's pretty compelling too because she's like a magician that's doing like a shitty magic show in like a hotel that's like it's like a free magic show if you like buy a ticket to like a water park or something. And she notices that there's like a person that has been attending the show but trying to look different every time like she attends the show, like wears like different hair, like tries to present herself differently.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like an aspect where something is like haunting her from when she first tried to do magic. So I'm just kind of like interested in it overall, but some of it's like there's some good horror aspects. And if you're like kind of skimming through, there's parts of the story that you'll miss that are kind of like hidden within the art. Because there was something I almost missed and I went back to it for some reason, but there's like a shadowy figure sort of like in the background that's like following her as part of the story. And I would have missed it if I was just kind of like skimming through it. So there's like parts of stuff that are hidden in the art that's really good. So I like it a lot. I'm going to keep going with it.
Nice.
That was the only thing I read.
I read a manga called Rooster Fighter.
Okay.
And it's awesome.
Does he fight many roosters?
No, the Rooster Fighter. He fights demons.
The rooster fights?
The rooster. It's a rooster.
Okay, cool.
And he's a super strong rooster for some reason. We don't know yet. But his like finishing move is a very loud cock-a-doodle-doo. And that makes like the demons' heads explode.
Whoa. It's like a Kamehameha wave.
Basically, yeah. And it's really funny because they like draw this rooster like kind of buff for some reason. Like it looks like
a little sexy.
Yeah, it's got like pecs and like strong legs. And,
nice. He could bench.
Yeah, but it's not very dense at all.
Do his wings have like biceps?
Basically, yeah.
That's cool.
And so, like that. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I just saw like the cover one day. I'm like, that looks weird, and so.
So that's why I picked it up.
Yeah, most of the reason why I read like a manga is like good cover, good title kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is that, but like it's interesting enough, and you know it's new enough to where it's not like like drowning in chapters. So
it's not as long as One Piece.
No, it's like 30 chapters.
Oh, okay, nice.
So yeah,
that'd be absurd.
Yeah, I read like the first 5.
Yeah. Did you tell me about Delicious Dungeon?
Delicious in Dungeon.
Delicious in Dungeon.
No, I think Parker told you about that.
Okay. That's like a thing on Netflix now. I didn't realize. So it's cool.
Yeah, an anime.
Anime.
I think Emily wanted to read that with us.
Oh, okay. So I asked her about it, and she's like, "Yeah, it's great." So
I don't know if like
I couldn't remember
what's great about it would be like told in like the first trade if we did like a episode on it, but
we'll see. Maybe.
Yeah, I have heard it's good from just him, but
nice. I watched Suicide Squad Isekai.
Oh yeah, how was that? I didn't watch it.
It is definitely an isekai, which my understanding is they're in a different world.
Yeah. Does Harley Quinn go to a different universe or something?
Dimension?
Okay.
I think is what they're going with. But it is just wild. I mean, it's definitely like it definitely feels like an anime. It doesn't feel like DC had to be like, okay, you got to do this in this way or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it is wild. Like in the beginning, there's a chase, like a police chase, and Joker's driving a car that he's driving by playing piano. And so he's like going all crazy and shit. Like I feel like the designs of the characters are really pretty good too.
It's like Mad Max, dude.
It feels like Warrior. That. It's basically the guitar flamethrower guy. Yeah. But he's driving it like with a piano, and he like plays different notes to go different directions or whatever. So it like starts with that, and so I'm like, okay, this is a good way to set the tone. But I like the team of the Suicide Squad is I think a little bit generic. Because you got like Peacemaker in there, and it's like okay, or like Deadshot, and like okay, it's for sure. But they do have Clayface in there, and they do some interesting things with him because he's like you don't know it's Clayface at first, and you're like, who's this like super hot guy supposed to be, and it ends up being Clayface. So I think that part's pretty fun. But and then just like the design of the different dimension that they're in is like Renaissance or like medieval. But the people's weapons or like the whips that they have are like magic like, and they like know how to wield them. So it's kind of interesting. But I only watched the first episode, and I plan on watching more because I had fun with it. So
cool.
I think there's like 3 or 4 episodes out now.
Yeah, I watched The Bear season 3. Nathan,
nice.
I watched it all. You know, they only had like the 30-minute episodes or whatever, and pretty good.
You watch the whole season? Yeah,
it's only like 8 episodes, I think.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's like, it's not like my favorite season because I don't know, I think I wasn't as stressed out as like the other seasons.
So that's bad.
Yeah, there's like 2 like really stressful episodes, There's one episode that was just like a shit ton of like flashbacks. It was like a whole episode of just him like learning like all of his techniques and stuff and all the food that he made and
In
shit.
flashback?
Yeah, it was like a whole episode of just that, and it was all cut really fast to where it was like a montage almost.
Oh, okay.
And which was kind of bizarre, but there was like an episode which is like I think one of my favorite episodes. You know, top 3 maybe. But yeah, pretty good. Do you watch that?
I want to.
You've never watched any of it?
I've watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
I was watching it with Sophie at the time, but she got too stressed out by it, and she was like, "I don't want to watch this anymore." Yeah, and I was like, "That's fair enough." And I plan on watching it, but I haven't yet.
Okay.
But I know it's good.
Yeah.
So I know they were cooking in that show.
Yeah, for sure.
I watched the first episode of a show called Eric.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
Is that the one with
It's got Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like his stepson gets like kidnapped or something, or
His
goes missing.
normal son gets kidnapped and goes missing.
Okay.
But he like Benedict Cumberbatch plays like a Jim Henson type guy. Do you know who that is? He's like the guy that made all the Muppets. Yeah.
Okay.
So he has like a Muppet type show that he does, and like it's based in New York, and like sometimes his kid will like be there at work while he's like filming the show or whatever, and they need to like get the ratings up or whatever, so they need like more recent puppets, and like sometimes he'll like collaborate with his kid on like puppets, but he's also like in his real life pretty drunk, and he like gets in fights with his wife all the time or whatever. And so like one day his kid goes and like walks to school by himself, and that's when he like gets kidnapped. And so it's like him trying to like figure out what happened, and like it's mainly there's also like the perspective of like the detective that's trying to find him. And so I think they set up like a lot of characters in like the first 20, I think it's like about an hour, so in like the first like 45 minutes up until when he gets kidnapped, they set up like potential like people that would have kidnapped him. So I'm pretty interested in who that ends up being. And then there's like a little twist at the end, but what I wanted to comment on it is that his kid is a fucking brilliant artist.
Oh, is he
like
really?
a great character designer? I feel like.
Okay.
And so like when he's like drawing shit on like the paper and he goes to like show his dad, and his dad like ignores him, I'm like, that's a good fucking Muppet design, dude. Like what a sweet, like what good character design. He's got good colors on there.
Does he draw like puppets?
He like draws what like, yeah, he's like a big like drawing artist, so he like draws what like the puppets would be like, and then sometimes they will like workshop on like what the voice will sound like for that Muppet or whatever. So I just that aspect of it, I was like, I'm probably the only one that thinks of this, but I'm like, that's a good design. Yeah. So I like it overall.
Sweet.
I was just trying to find something to watch to fall asleep to, but I'm not very good at that. I've discovered if I like the thing that I'm trying to fall asleep to.
You gotta watch something that you like.
I've already seen, probably. But if I'm putting on something that I've already seen, it's probably something that I like. Because like I'm not gonna put on like New Girl and fall asleep. I'm just gonna.
Do you
laugh at all the
always
jokes.
put something on to fall asleep?
No, sometimes.
Just a random night. Kinda.
Yeah, just like random nights I'll do it, but it never really works out. So
for sure. I watched a movie called Kinds of Kindness.
That's the anthology one, right?
Yeah, it's the newest Yorgos Lanthimos movie
with Mr. Plemons.
Yeah, Mr. Plemons
and Mrs. Stone.
Mrs. Stone, and
the third guy,
Mr. Defoe.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I can't like recommend this movie at all.
Okay,
but I liked watching it.
Those are the best kinds of movies.
It's like like very like artsy.
What else has he done?
He did like Poor Things and The Lobster.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so definitely like a kooky kind of guy. I wonder if like he was able to get this off the ground because of the success of Poor Things.
Probably.
But it's definitely possible that this is like the weirdest movie I've ever seen.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because like I couldn't think of anything weirder necessarily.
That's interesting.
But yeah, it's an anthology. I wasn't sure how it was going to go because, reviews were kind of like you either loved it or you hated it kind of thing.
Yep.
There are people that like walked out during this movie.
No way.
Yeah, it's long. It's like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh wow, that's super long.
Each of those stories are like almost an hour. Huh. And but it's cool because like it's all the same actors in each of the stories.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
And they all kind of had some weird, and some had like supernatural elements to them almost. But like you didn't see like anyone have like superpowers or anything, but it was like the way you do that without any special effects kind of thing.
Interesting.
So yeah, super weird. I don't know if I'd like ever watch it again, you know.
Yeah, it seems like a one and done type
Unless
thing.
I was like, what was this about? Why was this weird?
Mm-hmm. I mean, some people just like to watch weird movies, so
Yeah. And so yeah, it was pretty cool.
did you watch Poor Things?
Yeah, I saw that in the theaters.
Is that a good one?
Yeah, it's a great movie. You should watch that movie.
Okay, because I like Emma Stone a lot.
I think everyone should watch that movie because like it's just like super well done. It looks awesome.
I felt like that fairly recently came out. It was just last year, wasn't
the
it?
end of last year, yeah.
Whoa, and he already came out with another 3-hour movie.
Yeah, and he's got another movie coming out next year.
What the fuck? This guy's a grinder.
Yeah, dude, he's fucking cranking these out.
That's awesome. He's a cranker.
Yeah, but yeah, I can try and kind of describe these. The first one was like Jesse Plemons works for Willem Dafoe, but Willem Dafoe like tells him exactly how his day is gonna go every single day in like this letter. And one of the things he has to do is like kill a guy, but Plemons like can't bring himself to do it, and so he gets fired. And so he spends the rest of the story like trying to get his job back, but then he realizes the only way to do it is to like kill the guy.
He gets fired because he didn't kill a man?
Yeah. Like the Willem Dafoe's character is like super controlling. Like if like a conversation isn't like going well, it's kind of like a real life director almost. He'll like have the dude walk out of the room and then come back to just like reenact the conversation.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the second one was Emma Stone was like a marine biologist that was like stranded on like a island or something. And so Jesse Plemons is like the husband and isn't sure if he's gonna see his wife ever again. And then she is found and comes back, but Jesse Plemons is like convinced that that's like not his wife, you know. And so he's like almost driving his like wife away because he doesn't believe like that it's her.
That's freaky.
Yeah, so that one's pretty freaky because yeah, it was just like little signs where like it wasn't characteristic of her or whatever.
Yeah.
And that one like almost didn't make sense because I was like, you know, almost like trying to find some sort of metaphor or whatever that was in it. And the third one was like Plemons and Stone were in this cult and they're searching for like this Messiah character.
Okay.
That the whole cult is like their mission is to like find this person. I don't know how they find their leads or whatever, but this person can like is like a healer, can like heal some people to like who have injuries and can bring people back to life.
Right.
You know, I think so. There was a review that I read to where like people thought that this movie went too far. And I think the part that they're talking about is that the healer that they're looking for works at like a vet. And so the way Emma Stone gets close to the vet is that she finds like a stray dog and then like cuts the dog on like its arm. And you like see the cut and it's like kind of, everyone's like, what the fuck? You know, but the vet like heals it like immediately kind of thing. But also like doesn't like.
Yeah, there's I can see why people aren't a big fan of that.
Yeah. But yeah, so those are like the three stories basically. But yeah, it's pretty good. I gave
Did
it like
feel like a 3-hour movie?
Yeah, I checked my watch a couple times, you know, but I think that having like these three different stories kind of helped it move, you know, to where like it wasn't like a drag necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's cool.
No, what else you got?
There's a summer Steam sale going on, Daniel.
Very steamy.
So very steamy sales. And I've just been thinking about playing this game for a while. It was on sale for like $40, so I bought Elden Ring.
Okay.
And I've been playing it a little bit. I haven't gotten very far yet. I've only put like a couple hours into it, but it's fun, dude.
You do like it?
I think I made a mistake though, because I didn't realize there's like different. Well, like I knew there was like different ways to play this game, and there's different classes at like the very beginning, and so I've just been told that the most authentic, like the gatekept way to play it is to choose the Wretch, which is a guy or girl that doesn't have a shield or doesn't have any magic or doesn't have any summons, which are just like kind of ways to help you kill the big bosses. So like summons, you could summon like a copy of yourself and have him go fight the guy for a little bit, you know?
So the best way is to not have any of those?
So the least cheesy way is to, or the coolest way to play is to not have any of those, and you're just a guy running in fighting, just like Dark Souls like used to be, you know? So that's what I did. And I think that was a mistake, but I will see later. Because I've played Dark Souls games before. I don't think I've ever beaten one fully, but I've put some time into them. And this one, just like, there's whole like lore YouTube channels and stuff like this, stuff like that on Elden Ring. And I could see why, because it's pretty like rich environment. It's a beautiful game, like crazy designs. And I could see how like the lore could like run pretty deep, but
that's cool.
There's the first boss that you run into like maybe 5 minutes into playing the game, and he's optional, so you don't have to fight him, but everyone's like, you gotta fight the tree sentinel or whatever. And I tried for like an hour, and I was like, I'm just not built for this right now. Whoa. And so I left him. But a lot of the like big like streamers or whatever that have been doing marathons on the game like have all like tried to fight the tree sentinel, and some of them have spent like 8 hours trying to kill the dude, because it's just like you run into him, you die because you don't have any like I like don't even have any like shirt or pants on or anything. It's just like pretty much underwear that I'm wearing. So that's how like under armored I am. Like I can only literally get hit like 3 times or something and then I'm dead. So,
yikes.
But it's fun. It's a really good game.
Nice.
So yeah, we saw A Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place day 1.
Day 1.
More like A Quiet Place day 1, 2, and 3.
You got them.
Because there's a couple days.
Could have been A Quiet Place week 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the prequel of A Quiet Place. It's when they first got there via meteor.
Which is kind of odd, because like the second one is also kind of like a prequel, because there's like flashbacks to day 1 to those characters.
Yeah.
But
because I don't think they knew that they were going to make this.
But it's cool to see this in New York.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely like the perspective that they chose, and spoilers for this movie, I guess, but Lupita Nyong'o's character, was it Sam? I think.
Yeah.
She has like terminal cancer, and I think she's like survived like a little bit longer than she thought she would anyway. And so rather than trying to escape from or get to a safe place from all the Quiet Place monsters, she wants to go get some pizza.
Which I can relate to.
Which is pretty fire. I think that's a good perspective to do, rather than just like having them run away and try and find safety, which is what everyone's doing in all the other movies.
Yeah.
Because they have something to live for. Joseph Quinn is in it.
Yeah.
Who I've never seen him in anything up until now, but to my understanding he's in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And he's just a guy that's following her for some reason.
Yeah.
But I think it was good.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think it's probably my least favorite of the 3. Maybe because I was more connected to like the other characters and whatnot. But yeah, I could watch like 5 more of these.
I could too. I just really like seeing these specifically in theaters because of how quiet it is and how quietly people drink their sodas and like eat their popcorn.
Yeah.
And like if someone's walking around and this floor is even slightly sticky, everyone's hearing that shit, you know?
Yeah. I'd watch more, but like I don't know like what else there is.
I think why this one might be my least favorite is because you're exposed to so many of these monsters that they don't really feel super scary by the end of it.
Yeah.
And you kind of, you know what they like look like, which I think was kind of the part of the scariness of like the first one.
Yeah, there's only like ever one that they're dealing with at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't know there's multiple until like the end.
In the first movies or this one?
The first. Well, you knew there was going to be multiple. You didn't see like multiple on screen.
Like coming at you. But yeah, in this one, they're like crawling all over the buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I like just overall the like theme of it, of just like trying to find like the happy things in life before, you know, you die essentially.
Yeah.
So I think that was cool. The
biggest scare, like jump scare for me, was like just Joseph Quinn coming out of the water out of that subway. For some reason, that scared the shit out of me. Because the guy, I wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah.
Because it's this cat looking at the water, and then it just pops out of there. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That cat is the coolest cat, most chill cat I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. It should be called a quiet cat.
A quiet cat. Very quiet cat.
It did not meow the entire time.
I think it like makes sense to have a cat that survives because they're like pretty quiet anyway. So I think that's interesting. But this cat's like underwater for like tens of seconds at a time. Yeah. And I'm like, does this cat know how to hold his breath
maybe
for that long? You know, clearly he does. But he's like super chill getting wet, it seems.
Yeah. With like a movie to where they're supposed to be quiet for like long periods of time, like it still felt like it had like really good flow to it.
I agree. Yeah.
And it almost like felt like short.
It did. It was like 90 minutes, I think, and it felt like 45 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Which I think is a strength of it.
Mm-hmm. But it also kind of like leaves you wanting more.
I did kind of want a little bit more by the end, but I think they still gave like a full movie.
Yeah.
For sure. But
so they have to like get to like the South Street like port or whatever to get to like a boat.
Yep.
And I'm like, where's the boat gonna go? I feel like wherever they go is also gonna be in the same situation.
You know, at least being on the boat means you're not immediately in danger.
Yeah.
So I guess that's good.
But
the
also boats were actually going to like that island that was in the second one. Cause
Jamon Hansu's
Jamon
character.
Hansu is in the second one and he's on that island.
He's got a good scene in this where he kills that man.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, there's like a guy freaking out. He's like, we're all gonna die. Like, I'm like, shut up. And then he like has to snap his neck. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool. It was like a meteor shower that brought these things to Earth, and they all seem like pretty concentrated, like right around New York.
Well, I think that happened everywhere. Like that, those meteors were like everywhere on Earth, kind of thing.
But if it was just like one,
because it looked the same in whatever town the first two were in.
I feel like that's somewhere in America too, right? So
yeah, but maybe it's not like this is only happening in America.
It might be. Like maybe they're, well, you don't know that at the time as well. Because if I see meteor shower, I'm like, okay, this is not happening like Europe or something. Or like Australia, one big island, you know?
Maybe it was a big enough meteor shower where it's everywhere on Earth.
It could have been.
Even Australia.
It seems crazy that they can't swim and they landed on Earth, like a place that's mostly water.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many of them crash landed in the ocean and just died on site.
A lot, probably.
Probably a lot.
If assuming that the scatter of the meteors were equal around the Earth, and a majority would be in the water. So
yeah.
they're only up against the survivors.
Yeah. So they never really find out what kills them. They just know that they don't really swim. So that's like a way to like get out. But
they don't know how to hold their breath, I guess.
Yeah. Which is interesting. Or maybe like they can't hear very well in water and that like fucks with them. Like the pressure of the water.
I don't
you ever
know
like dive too deep into
it doesn't seem
like
their limbs are necessarily made for water.
They're probably super dense, I think.
And maybe the planet they're from doesn't have water. So like the concept of swimming is like not even.
Probably not.
Yeah, they don't have like a natural like doggy paddle to try and like get themselves out.
Yeah. So the two characters in this develop a pretty nice relationship. I would say like Joseph Quinn's character goes out of his way to like find some like meds or something for her.
Yeah, like
for Sam.
Out of all the people to kind of team up with in an apocalypse, like you definitely like pick someone with like some baggage. You know?
For sure.
I feel like if you run into like someone who's like terminally ill, you'd probably want to
be like, okay,
move along
next. Yeah.
But no, it shows a lot that he's
very nice.
Like, and he puts his life in danger to like make sure this cat like lives.
Definitely. They go to the pizza place that she's trying to go to the whole time, and she like finally gets I think that specific pizza place like was destroyed, right?
Yeah, it was like caught on fire or something.
And so he gets pizza from some other place, and I'm like, that pizza is like 2 or 3 days old.
Well, like a lot of pizza can like survive on like the counter for like a week and still be like
I know
FDA
that.
approved.
But I'm like, she's eating this pizza, something she's been like longing for a while, because she hasn't been able to get pizza even before.
Well, she knew that, and she like didn't expect it to be like fresh.
I know, but like,
but if you haven't eaten for a couple days,
that is probably still pretty good.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you're right, but I was like, that pizza does not look good. And so like, if I base my whole journey around getting like a piece of pizza and it's like a shitty piece of pizza, I'm like, that kind of sucks.
That's probably the best food that you can get forever, for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And then there's like a reveal about like how the pizza place that she was trying to go to is like a place that her dad used to play piano, I think, right?
It's like across the street from
yeah. And so that's why she's like trying to go there. And I think, again, big spoilers, but like she walks off to like go to this place and play his music, and that's like how she dies. I thought for sure she like knew how to play piano, and she was gonna like play piano like her dad used to play piano, and like that's how she died. And I thought that would have been kind of cool.
Oh, as the ending, yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but she instead plays her dad's music on her iPod Nano. Remember those things?
Yeah.
That was a throwback. There's 2 different generations of iPod in this.
Dude, there's an iPod Classic.
Yeah.
Which I think I still have my iPod Classic.
Dude, there's no shot you do.
I think I do.
Do you have your Nano?
No.
Okay.
The Classic's the big old fucker.
The Nano was my shit.
Yeah,
back then.
definitely rocked with the Nano.
Yeah,
like the white one.
I had the blue one.
I don't think I ever had a shuffle. I think mom and dad had a shuffle.
Is that the one without a screen?
Yeah.
You just like
He's like
the music gods were serving you music, and you're like, okay.
like it was in the order of like whatever was in your iTunes, like alphabetical, and then you could just change the shuffle.
Yeah, it's every time you start playing music, it's just like whatever song starts with A.
What a concept! And now we shuffle, but with a screen, and we can see what's playing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, overall, I think it was really good.
Yeah,
nothing like really was too scary. It was just kind of more intense, which I don't think they were necessarily going for scary.
Yeah.
So in that, if that's what they're going for, I think it worked.
Maybe if you're like a New Yorker and you know like that the bridges are the only way out of like Manhattan, that might be kind of scary when they just blow them up.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Which I feel like I've seen somewhere in like a different apocalyptic horror movie.
Like blowing up the bridges?
Yeah. Maybe it was I Am Legend.
I think it is I Am Legend.
So, but, or no, it was,
well, they blocked off the bridge at least.
I think it was like The Dark Knight Rises. Remember when like Bane like cuts them off?
Oh yeah,
but
that's right.
Anyway, good movie.
Good movie. I agree.
But
probably my least favorite of the three, but
yeah,
they're still like really close together overall.
Yeah, I like rated like half a star less than the other one. So
fair enough.
What are we gonna read next week? And then what are we gonna read next week?
Good question. What's coming out? Or are we going to do another Eisner nominated book?
Yeah, last Eisner nominated book, Nathan.
Okay.
I think
before Eisner's happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're going to do like a Deadpool book to line up with that.
Okay.
But that's like when the Eisners come out.
Agreed. Okay.
So I'm thinking we got to do Godzilla, Here They Be Dragons.
I think that's a great idea.
Let's go.
I should have picked up the sequel issue last week when it came out. Maybe I can still hunt it down. But yeah, that sounds great. I think ever since you told me about that book, I'm like, fuck, I should have picked that up.
Yeah.
So I agree. We should do that.
Sounds good. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for watching. Check out the link tree in the bio. We got the socials and stuff like that.
Socials, emails. Tell us if you have read Local Man, if it's an Eisner or an Eisno for you.
Tell us who your favorite member of Third Gen is.
Yes.
Is it Big Island?
Is it? It's probably, or is it Shattered? What's his name?
Cutting Edge.
Cutting Edge. Best name.
Let us know. tradewaiterspod@gmail.com. And we'll
that's it.
talk to you next week.
Peace.
All right, bye.